It is only fitting that a man who lived in service
He loved this organization.
die with honor.
So it's just our way of honoring our fallen comrade.
Showing gratitude and saying goodbye to Trooper Turl Covington Jr., one of the bravest
This was his life.
and one of the last
We think there's about 20.
of the Buffalo Soldiers.
They came about after the Civil War.
Aurora Dispatch, this is Ethel.
A good night here.
You just keep her calm and comfortable.
That's easy.
I do have help on the way.
It's about helping and getting the bad guys, as Ethel Nelson calls them.
Okay.
What's a bit harder to explain, to quantify.
Ethel is absolutely the heart and soul of the dispatch center.
What information do you have on that?
Is why people who work with Ethel
I'm the boss of him.
feel that way.
She's the boss of me. Just her personality, just the way she conducts herself, I think. I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard. It's one of those, that's why she's the heart and soul, because you can't really put your hand on it. You can't put your finger on it.
Let's stand in front of the bus here, gentlemen.
Barriers exist, by definition, to divide.
All right, Murray, we got a lot of traffic. So
Yet quite often, someone breaks through.
Bill, we're going to ask you to step this way and get us out of traffic.
Experience taught the men on this bus much about barriers.
This is a good stop. You're going to enjoy this one.
Experience
Will there be much walking?
taught Martha Baker a whole lot more.
And I look, I'm the only black on the entire tour. It's not the first time.
Not the first time.
This looks it's so realistic.
This trip to D.C. helps bring back memories.
That is amazing.
Memories of her service that started during the Korean War.
I wonder how many rejections or how many contests they had to go through in order to arrive at this.
She knows a thing or two about rejection.
There were black nurses before myself, but not that many because they didn't want them.
I think that's the power of tradition.
Adrian Miller has a distinct title.
I call myself the soul food scholar,
Bet you didn't even know there was such a thing.
and that's a self-appointed title.
He's the perfect person to assist in the kitchen
What's on the menu?
because for him, soul food is more than a flavor, it's a feeling.
And to cook for someone else is an act of love. So when you make something, you're saying, I love you. Even if it's straight nasty, you still made the attempt, right?
But he says that's not actually where the name soul food came from.
But the earliest iteration of soul and food, like the joining of those words, is actually in Shakespeare's first play, The Two Gentlemen of Verona. And Julia says to Lucetta, "Oh, knowest thou not that his looks are my soul's food?"
Pride is the centerpiece of any football program.
And what attracted me to the University of Wyoming, I'm a city kid that loves the country.
In 1969, there was a test of pride for 14 men,
This is a football ring.
including John Griffin.
That brings back great memories, actually.
Griffin was part of a University of Wyoming team
That's Ron Hill, that's me.
ranked 12th in the country.
So it was sort of like the funny joke was the Ron and John show.
But what happened on the field is not what defined this season. It was pride, in the form of a decision that Griffin says defined him as a man.
We made a decision based on what we thought was right.
The team's 14 black players wanted to wear armbands during their game against Brigham Young University because at the time, the Mormon Church did not allow black clergy.
You know, it was a simple thing to wear an armband.
Griffin says they approached Coach Lloyd Eaton the night before the game, wearing the armbands, to ask for permission.
And he walked in with the other coaches, and within 5 minutes, we were off the football team. And I'll never forget those words, "Gentlemen, you are no longer Wyoming Cowboys." We sat there in silence and we all looked around, what? And that was it.
One room,
This room itself, it's over 100 years old.
one woman,
I just took off.
one mission.
I reach out, and I've been reaching out.
Candace McKnight has been on that mission for a long time.
I guess it all started with me back in 97.
First interested in her own family tree, she branched out teaching African Americans genealogy.
Felt like it was my journey, that I had to do this.
Now, instead of telling the history of one family, she helps tell the history of an entire people.
When blacks first came here in the 1800s,
Some would call them the invisible people.
this book called Invisible People of the Pikes Peak Region,
All of the stories find a home here.
We are the only Black historical and genealogical society combined in the state of Colorado.
Share your stuff.
Sure, he teaches, but he's not a teacher.
There are just more avenues that are available to you. So make sure you start to explore them.
Chet Sisk also knows a lot about history.
I will say this.
But he's quite the opposite of an historian.
I'm a social futurist.
A concept focused on looking at the possibilities, not just the past.
During Black History Month, we'll talk about Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, and those kinds of things. But the real key is, are we developing levels of vision? That is, who are we going forward?
It's the question that's led to another way to look at the month of February.
There's this movement out in the country now, it's called Black Future Month.
And Sisk is part of that movement. As an inspirational speaker, life coach, and author, he travels around the world sharing the message that everyone has the opportunity to do great things.